Yeah, I saw a study that came out a couple of days ago, and they were talking about COVID, and they said that obviously the number one thing that's killing people is age, but the second thing seems like that the factors from obesity seem to be as well. So it looks like age, it's funny because in the article it says age is something that you can't do anything about. Looks like you would definitely want to go into debate about that. And on the other side, it then talks about obesity, and there's all the stuff that comes from that, diabetes, cardiovascular issues as well. So it seems like the actual two biggest issues now, talking to you, actually can be worked through to actually help people be healthier, boost their immune system, and actually be able to fight it better, it seems.
Well, they're inextricably linked.
Yeah.
Obesity, heart disease, Alzheimer's, even cancer. These are manifestations of aging. And let's talk about obesity just for a second.
Mm-hmm.
It's known that the clock of aging ticks faster if you're overweight, right? And so it's not that obesity is just the problem. Mm-hmm. It's that your obesity is accelerating your aging. And that's why obesity causes a whole range of diseases, including cancer. Your body clock is ticking. So if you can lose that weight and your body clock will slow down. Mm-hmm. But the other thing to think about is, what is the root cause of most suffering on the planet? What is the root cause of disease? Well, we know that for cancer, for example, the majority of the risk for cancer is aging, the processes that drive aging. We forget about that. We try to treat cancer after it occurs. We forget about the preceding 50 years that lead up to that typically. Yeah. And you can have a big difference on your cancer rates. I'll give you one example. So my mother died of lung cancer. She smoked, which accelerated her clock. It mutated her DNA as well, which was not helpful. But her risk of getting cancer because of smoking went up 5-fold above the average person, whereas going from age 20 to 70 increases your risk more than 200-fold. So which is more important to work on, smoking or cancer? Well, I'd say do both, but we ignore the major cause of cancer in the world.
Yeah, which is people's environment, what they put in their body, how they take care of themselves. And one of the things that you said that I put down that I was really interested on, which I haven't heard you speak a whole lot about, is just being sedentary and just sitting all the time. Like that's one of the things that I'm getting better at, is every hour trying to get up and move in some sort of way. And the thing that I've heard it explained is like sitting is basically the new cancer. What is the issue with sitting so much, and how do you see that happening in affecting the aging process?
Well, I have personal experience of that. When I wrote my book, which took 10 years, but I was literally sitting for about 18 months every day and night, I ended up suffering. My health went, I could barely walk because my piriformis muscle atrophied and then seized up. It was in a cramp for 6 months. And that's the muscle that goes through that hole in your pelvis. Mm-hmm. And it took me 6 months of exercise and therapy to get back to walking again. So I've switched over to having a standing desk. It's right next to me, just here. I go on a lot of walks. So why is sitting so bad? Well, first of all, your heart rate doesn't go up. You're basically at minimal basal heart rate, which is bad. Second of all, if your major muscles atrophy, if you're a man, you're going to have less testosterone. But even for women, that lack of muscle bulk is super bad. Not just because your hormones are diminished, but particularly those people who are my age and older, if you have weak muscles, it's super bad because A, it's very hard to get them back. It took me a lot of work, and it's harder the older you get. But the number one, or maybe one of the top 5, not number one, but one of the major causes, preventable causes of death, is falling over and breaking your leg or your hip. And you've got to keep those muscles that are required for standing really strong so that if you fall, you don't break, you just bounce.